Hey, Cheesecake Nation. It's your old pal Super Chudge, Funk, and Dave coming at ya. And today we decided we're going to do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, this one's less about like the Pokemon. We're to do with the RPG, the random Pokemon generator. You guys can find it at pyrotaz.com. It's a pretty fun little thing. You pick your types. You can pick your tiers, your type, your region down at the bottom. Gives you a lot of nice, helpful stats. Do with it what you will. So this is what we got out of the generator.
More or less.
But yeah, this episode's more. We're to use that as kind of the background. Well, we just kind of talk about some of the new upcoming comic book movies, something we're both interested in. The very first one will be at the end of the year, is actually Big Hero 6. And I don't want to sound douchey, because I know that's how it's going to sound, but I'm actually a pretty big fan of the team. I know they have all of like 2 one-shots, and then they have a Sunfire in the Big Hero 6. But I have the last 2 one-shots, which the very last one that came out, I want to say it was last summer, but it might have been the summer before. They actually released the one-shot that'll be based on what this movie's kind of being based around. Like, it'll be that same team. Granted, this movie really has nothing to do with the comic book team. But, my thoughts going into it, I haven't seen it yet, obviously. I'm not super awesome. Get to go see movies early. I actually have no problem with Baymax being a tire man.
The fucking Michelin Man Pillsbury Doughboy combined with the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. All that.
By the way, not to interrupt this video, but is that my apple juice from last time I was here?
Could be.
Blew my mind. But alright, back to a video at hand. Yeah, I really don't have a problem with him. I know a lot of people kind of had issues with, if you don't know, Big Hero 6 is a team based out of Japan. And for whatever reason, Disney decided to make it some weird, like, American-Japanese hybrid team now, where they fight in San Fran, Tokyo. And
It's different.
yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I don't really have that much of a problem with it. It's just kind of weird. It's got really cool visuals. I mean, some of the stuff, like you see the hills in San Francisco, and like everything has like a real Japanese feel to it. It's pretty cool looking visually, but it's just kind of a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the same team that brought us Frozen, which I, granted, not a big fan of. I can see why people like it. Just I have my issues with it, so whatever. Wreck-It Ralph, which I would consider myself a fan of. They don't anything else big Disney? Tangled, I guess.
I don't know if that's the exact same studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it is weird to think of it like that. And like you see Disney doing a CG movie and...
Yeah, I think Tangled is like it's all part of the same thing. I might be wrong.
I don't know, it's weird.
But alright, so getting back to the main point. So they all kind of have Power Ranger armor, which is kind of weird. I guess as we see more of it, I'll be more or less okay with it. As of right now, I'm kind of in the stage of, let's see what they do with it. I mean, I want Honey Lemon to have her purse, where she can pull anything out of her purse. That's her power. She's kind of like a magical girl meme. Fredzilla, as long as he turns into a dinosaur, I guess I'm alright with it. Wasabi no Ginger. If he has a sword, I guess I'm cool with it. Go Tamango, I think is their last name. I might be saying it wrong, like Tamago or something like that. I don't really mind.
I think that's familiar.
Yeah. I do find it weird they changed the last name of the main character. I can't remember what his new last name is. I think it's Yamato, something along those lines.
Yeah.
His actual last name in the comics is Takachio. And I don't really understand why they changed it. So if you guys have some like inside information, I would really appreciate that in the comments. I just find it weird. I mean, again, these are like the Guardians were like D level, EF level. Like Big Hero 6 is literally like not even a comic book property. But yeah, so I'm up for them to change it. I have a lot of faith in this team. They did good work with Frozen, even though I wasn't a big fan of the story, but everything else with it was really good. The songs and everything. Wreck-It Ralph was really good, so, I appreciate that. Alright, moving on. After that, we have, of course, Avengers 2.
That's the big one.
I have a few issues with it. The big one being Ultron's creation, just because I am a big fan of Hank Pym.
Which we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, when we get to the Ant-Man. My thoughts on the Ant-Man movie. But we're going to apparently get the Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. Those are the big three names being thrown out. I don't know if you consider that a spoiler or not. I mean, they're on the posters at Comic-Con. Their names have been thrown out to the media. I guess they just don't figure any of this stuff will be a spoiler. I don't really particularly have a problem with it. I don't know if you guys do. I'm sorry if that was considered a spoiler. I'll throw out some spoiler warnings when we get to like Dawn of Justice and stuff, because there's a few things that some of you won't know if you're not really searching for it. But it seems like it's a grander scale as far as enemies, but from what I heard from filming is it looks like it's going to be a smaller set. So I don't know. What I'm really hoping for is we get the Avengers where they're not together. But we get to see them all fight. I'd pair them off. Because you're going to have War Machine, Iron Patriot, whatever you want to call him in the movie. He was shown in some of the production stuff. He's seen in the scenes. I've heard a few people out there that kind of predict that he's going to die in this movie, which is I kind of got to feel like somebody has to die.
Yeah.
And if they're not going to do any more Iron Man movies, maybe he is the character to die. I mean, I don't want Hawkeye to die. I'm a big fan of Jeremy Renner. So, maybe. Other than that, my thoughts on the twins. Not a big fan.
Yeah, I honestly can't see their version of Quicksilver being anywhere nearly as popular as the X-Men version.
Yeah, the X-Men did it really well, and you're missing two major components of what makes Quicksilver Quicksilver. You can't mention Magneto, which is literally like half of what makes Quicksilver cool, is like him and Magneto's relationship.
Yeah.
And he's not a mutant. So why add mutants to the team? There's plenty of characters I would have gone with. Wonder Man and Captain Marvel being the big two off the top of my head. Especially if you're going to bring in Vision. You had a pretty cool little Wonder Man. Hell, you could have done Black Panther and Captain Marvel. Anything, really. Thoughts on the Vision? Haven't really seen enough. From what we saw in the Comic-Con posters were kind of cool. Ultron, from what we've seen, looks pretty cool. I got a lot of faith they'll give him justice, I know a lot of people were like, we just saw the Avengers fight an army. But, I mean, that's kind of Ultron's deal. He mass produces himself. He wants to eradicate humanity, so I have no problem with that. We've seen a few other things in some of the early work. We saw pictures of Hulkbuster Iron Man, so hopefully we'll get a few more, inner team fights, maybe Hulkbuster versus Hulk, maybe Cap and Hawkeye, give Hawkeye something to do, just see them training or something. I don't know if it's been said yet or not, but I'm kind of hoping we at least get a Falcon cameo, just to kind of keep that up. I mean, he doesn't need to be a member of the Avengers. I don't even care if he's in the movie. If Cap literally picked up a phone and the caller ID just said Falcon. Just acknowledge Falcon. Acknowledge that Captain America is currently searching for the Winter Soldier with Falcon. That's all I want. Period.
Yeah.
And I'll be cool with that. Have a fucking Christmas card with a picture of Falcon's mom. Just Merry Christmas, Cap. Still looking for Winter Soldier. Just anything to kind of hit back to it. Alright, continuing on. I guess we're going to kind of break chronological order and go to a DC property. We're going to talk about Dawn of Justice. Early thoughts about it. I like the Batman's look in it. I wasn't a huge fan of Man of Steel, so I'm kind of hoping this one will change my mind on the DC product moving forward. The Warner Bros. DC project, I guess I'd say.
Yeah.
Like, the big thing they need to step up is CGI. Like, holy shit. Did Man of Steel at the end, that final scene with Zod look like absolute horseshit. Like, fix that. I have a few fears as far as Batman, like, really pulling the tone down in this movie. Just because I don't really see how a really gritty, really realistic Batman could work. Because I know a lot of people want to see it literally just be Ben Affleck as the Nolan-verse Batman. And I wouldn't do that. I'd let him be a realist, let him live in this super world. Let him know Superman's the most powerful person on the earth, and he needs Superman to join his Justice League. He knows there's evil out there. He's an older, wiser Batman. You have a young, cocky, dickhead Superman. And then let him have a few people in his Justice League already. Let him have an Aquaman, a Wonder Woman, maybe a Flash to start out with. Then as the movie continues, as we go towards a Justice League movie, that's where you can add Cyborg, even though I would kind of hold off and maybe do a Teen Titans movie down the line if you want to introduce a Tim or a Dick to do a Robin / Nightwing, whatever you want to do with your Teen Titans movie. Because I think, honestly, that's probably DC's property with the most name recognition among their fans because of how popular the TV show, the web series that's now a TV show is, like all that shit. Like, a lot of those characters, even though you wouldn't feel like they're real major characters and not big comic book plot points, they're very popular among the fans, and I think you can get a movie off the ground with them. Transitioning through that, what are my thoughts on some of the casting? I can't say I have a whole lot of faith in this movie. Like, I'm going to see it. I'm going to hope I like it, and I'm going to give it a chance. Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor.
Probably not the best call.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll blow my mind and I'll eat my words. But honestly, I don't have a whole hell of a lot of faith in that one. Ben Affleck, I'm actually thinking he could be like the star of this movie, in all honesty, coming out of it. I think a lot of people look at Daredevil and blame him when I think a lot of it was stuff that happened on the editing floor. Like, if you ever seen the director's cut of Daredevil, you know it fixes a lot of the issues in the movie. I'm not some crazy Ben Affleck apologist, but I think in recent years, between The Town, Argo, and stuff, he's shown a range where he can do this movie, I believe. I don't have any problem with that. Gal Gadot, or Gadot, I'm not sure. First and foremost, I wasn't big on the casting at all. I feel like you need a larger woman. Like, this is Wonder Woman. Like, you can kind of get away with a really pretty model for a lot of female superhero roles. I mean, a lot. Like, 90% of them. You could literally just go with a pretty face. The Amazonian, you kind of need to find a woman who's got the size. You should have looked more towards, like, a woman who's coming out of sports that fits that package of, like, a badass. Like, still an attractive woman, but you really should have focused on a badass. Like, that's what you want. You need to have a Wonder Woman who looks like she can kick Batman's ass.
Indeed.
And Gal Gadot doesn't at all. Like, I have no faith in her in this movie, and I don't want to blame her because that's a director decision. I think he saw a hot rising name in Hollywood, and that's why he chose her. I can't say it was a good thing or a bad thing in, like, the mass media eye. Because, I mean, I know it brought a lot of eyes to the project, though I don't know who wasn't planning on, like, if you gave a shit at all about a Superman versus Batman movie, I don't know why controversy would bring you in. Other casting. My thoughts on the guy who's gonna play Cyborg. I can't remember his name. I know he's not a huge actor. I think this is his first like big Hollywood project. I know he's a Broadway actor, and I really wish we were a little more professional and actually wrote down their names. Just doing this all off the top of my head, people. I have no problem with that. I mean, he looks the part. I haven't seen him perform, so as long as, I mean, he's a Broadway actor, he should be solid. I don't imagine Cyborg to have a huge part in this. Like I said, I think they're teasing somewhere down the line either him joining the Justice League, which is more the new 52 route, or being a member of the Titans, which would be really cool. Especially if you have your Justice League movie and you have a Dick or a Tim, whichever one you want to go with, and you set it up and he's like, "Where are you going to, Batman?" It's like, "Business calls. Can I go?" "No." And then you're just like, "Well, fuck you. I'm going to join my own team. Teen Titans, go." And you can use that movie to set up other universes. Like, I know they're planning on doing a Constantine movie somewhere down the road. If Constantine...
Again.
Yeah, a good one. One that's actually based on the comic, not just like a Keanu Reeves fucking drug trip. Yeah. So, like, if you use that one, you can set up Trigon. Use Trigon to set up Raven. You could easily fix what, in my opinion, is a bad idea of just going right into a team movie without setting up any of these characters. Because... granted, Batman and Superman don't need origin films at all, period. If you don't know who Batman and Superman are, just run into a wall. Just continually run into a wall and don't stop. Like, you've missed the bus on humanity. Wonder Woman, maybe you don't know. I mean, I don't know really too many people. I would say she's in the top 10 all comic kind of characters that you kind of have to know. Cyborg, I don't expect a whole lot of people to know who he is, so it's cool to set him up in the movie. Aquaman, whether or not he's gonna do anything in this movie. And then it was kind of talked about recently, they're gonna do a Shazam movie starring The Rock as Black Adam. No director yet, no lead actor. Just seems like an ass backwards kind of way to go. Like, I'm cool with The Rock. I mean, I'm a big wrestling fan. It's cool to see The Rock getting big work.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh at this guy. I flinched, haxed his sash Ariados, and he just forfeited. So, please continue.
Yeah, like, kind of cut me off. Yeah, like ass
director.
Backwards. Yeah, it's kind of ass backwards to get a star for a movie and not a director or your main star. I'm cool with The Rock. I think he's a good, solid actor. I think he fits the part well. I know a lot of people were kind of like, "Oh, but Black Adam's a white guy." And I'm like, no, he's Egyptian. So I have no problem with The Rock's ethnicity with the role. Because I will say, because I wasn't really planning on going into this movie because I don't consider it to be a comic book movie. But the Fantastic Four thing, like, I know there's this whole PC shenanigan argument. It's like, why? We need more black superheroes. Like, do a movie on a black superhero. I think the whole idea of saying we need, more females, we need more colored superheroes. Like, sure, but pick who you want and support that character. There's a reason Marvel has chose these people. These are the characters that people got behind and said, you know what? I want an Iron Man movie. I want a Thor movie. These are the people I want in my Avengers movies. If you really want to see a Captain Marvel movie or a Black Widow movie or anybody who you want, go support that character. That will force them to make a movie. Believe me, if you want Black Panther the movie and you and your buddies all get together and go buy Black Panther everything you can, the comics, you buy the new Avengers comics, keep talking about it. That's who I want, this character. Then they're going to be like, you know what? There's buzz behind this character. When you're just like, I want a female superhero, they're like, well, shit, who the hell do we do it about? You can't really do it on Black Widow. Like, Scarlett Johansson's a good actress, don't get me wrong. And she definitely has drawing power, but Black Widow is just not that strong a character. No offense to her. It's just the truth in the comics. She's not that strong a character. But getting back to a very quick run through on the Fantastic Four reboot movie, I'm not going to see it. It's not the Fantastic Four that I believe in. I want the movie to bomb, and I want the rights to revert back to Marvel. I want to see Silver Surfer and Thor fight somewhere down the line. So I'm not going to see it. I don't support it. Other stuff from Fox, real quick.
New X-Men Apocalypse.
X-Men Apocalypse somewhere down the line. I think it's got a couple years to go, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. I mean, I'll definitely go see that. I support them. I mean, back to that point, Sexton. You want to yell at anybody, yell at Fox. They literally have diversity men, the superhero team. Ask them why there's no Storm movie, no Rogue movie, no Bishop movie. Like, they have all the cool characters. Marvel has Black Panther and Black Best Friends. That are pretty much clones of other characters. Like, what are you going to do? Goliath the movie? Iron Patriot the movie? Falcon maybe? But you kind of set him up too much as Cap's best friend in Cap 2. I definitely want to see him in Cap 3. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have no problem. But I feel like you kind of have to choose a character wisely. And I think the X-Men have all the best characters. If you want to do something, like, you have the Netflix series that are coming out. You have Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist. And it's going to culminate in a Defenders movie. Now, if you do a second series of that, you could easily see a Hispanic female superhero in White Tiger. She's a really cool character. I would love to see her in the Netflix series. Moon Knight is another big one, because I know a lot of people want to see a Moon Knight movie. I don't think he really has the depth to do a full-blown movie. Like, I know he's got a pretty cool fan base, and I like the character personally, but I just don't feel like he's that strong a character. You're literally just going to get, like, inverted light colors Batman. White cape Batman. I mean, he'd be really cool in the Netflix series. Let him be like that crazy schizo nutcase. Just beat the hell out of people. So yeah, if they wanted to go that route, could have another female Hispanic superhero in Elektra. I know the first movie with Jennifer Garner wasn't good at all. No, not at all. So, you know, whatever with that. Kind of reset it. Hopefully enough people have kind of forgotten that was a movie. You could do something with it. Then in that last spot, you could do whoever you want and build towards the Defenders 2. Maybe set it up for a full live act or a full blown movie, which would be kind of cool. Maybe Spider-Woman in that last spot, Jessica Drew. I don't really know where she resides. She might be at Fox, just because they also mentioned Hydra, but I don't know. I know a lot of people seem to think she's with Sony, but she really has nothing to do with the Spider-Man mythos, so I don't think so. Oh, going to Sony. Oh, God. No. I'm going to give them... They have one more chance. I was not a big fan of Amazing Spider-Man 1. I liked parts of Amazing Spider-Man 2. I think if they kept it, you know, the upbeat, happy Spider-Man just being an asshole, stay the fuck away from, like, gritty Batman bullshit. Cut the whole Peter's dad angle. Just cut it. Nobody gives a shit. You're gonna get like one fanboy on the internet's like, we never got the resolution of that. Fuck him. Fuck that guy. You don't need it. Just stick with what matters. Spider-Man beating somebody up as Spider-Man. Let him do backflips and shit. Shoot webs through windows. Just be happy Spider-Man. Then you can build up a scary villain. Have a fight. Yeah.
Jim Carrey, that's carnage.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you can set up all these cool characters that are in the Spider mythos, but you don't have to be dark and gritty, Sony. Listen to me.
You guys did a much better job with Spider-Man 2. I really did like it. I'm not the biggest movie guy, which is kind of why I'm not doing a whole lot of talking, because I purely watch movies that are akin to my interests. Fuck, I didn't see Forrest Gump in its entirety up until a few months ago. It's just, I'm just not huge into movies. But, you know, when I see something like that, I did not like Amazing Spider-Man 1. I absolutely hated Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. You could tell he did a much better job in 2,
but
albeit...
If they kept 2 happy and upbeat, minus like you could have had... I would have cut Harry, which I say with a lot of love for the actor. Like, everything with Harry in that movie just seemed forced in by the company.
Kind of arbitrary.
Like, they were like, well, we need to set up our next movie, so let's force this in here. And then, I think you could have had a movie. Like, you could have had a solid movie. Like, if I did, the Dave's director's cut of Amazing Spider-Man 2, I would literally cut everything that has to do with Harry out of the movie. Electro would have escaped via turning into lightning and disappearing, whatever. Not to mention the overacting on Electro's part, but, you know, whatever. But I would stick with a more happy and upbeat Spider-Man. If you're going to give him a girlfriend that's more to the back. Like, I know a lot of people really like the Peter and Gwen stuff in the movie. It was okay with me, I guess. Just kind of, it slows the movie down, in my opinion. And you're Spider-Man, like, I guess if we had more action in the movie, I wouldn't mind. 2, not usually considered comic book movies, but definitely, in my opinion, are. Future Godzilla installments. Hey, if we see more Godzilla, I'm down to see Godzilla. I mean, like I said, we need to see more Godzilla in the movie, though.
Yes, absolutely.
We need Godzilla to fight something. And
very excited for the next one.
Ninja Turtles, too.
Oh, absolutely. Like, again, that's one of those movies that either you're gonna like it or you're not gonna like it at all. Like, it's just what it is. And I know I have heard, like, even before the box office numbers came back, they said if we get a sequel, the 3 characters that they definitely want to bring in, number 1, first and foremost, is Casey Jones.
Yeah, give Megan Fox a love interest, probably. It'll probably be your Sam.
Now, for some reason, they didn't have Baxter Stockman in the first movie, even though he was credited, like, even before, like, the movie came out. But, so hopefully we will get to see him, because now that, spoiler alert, actually, I don't even think he's dead. I can't remember. Go watch the movie. He's either in jail or he's dead. So, the white guy everybody thought was Shredder.
Yeah, is not Shredder.
Is not Shredder. So, just one of those things. But,
yeah.
And then, the biggest thing that made me incredibly happy is Bebop and Rocksteady. They're like fan favorite characters that came from the original cartoon back in the 80s. They are very well loved characters. In the new Nicktoons cartoon, they're going to be revitalized. It's going to be kind of weird because they're not going to be like street thugs like they were. And Nickelodeon's made some weird decisions when it comes to how they reinvent certain Turtles characters. But I'm not going to spoil it. I mean, you could go online and look to see how they're going to do Bebop and Rocksteady for this new series. If you've watched the cartoon, then I think you know who's going to be Bebop. But the guy who's playing Rocksteady is going to be kind of weird. But either way, they're going to be in the movie, so I'm pretty excited overall.
Alright, Guardians 2, of course. They've already announced that. I assume it's going to be good. I have no reason not to. Guardians was amazing. Guardians 2 should introduce probably Adam Warlock. I would kind of hazard a guess we're probably going to get Moondragon and maybe Pip the Troll, if I had to guess. If you don't know who those characters are, go to your local Wikipedia and Google them. Cool characters. Build up towards an Infinity Watch.
I did happen to notice that Adam's Warlock cocoon was in
as
one of the thingies.
Yeah, and the collectors,
So.
or Mugado as I refer to him. 100 cool points to people that get that reference. You know who Mugado is. And finally on to my personal black little ball bearing in my heart. The Ant-Man movie. Alright, so first and foremost, why would you do a movie about Scott Lang? The second hero to a C-list hero. And I say that with all love in the world. Like I said, big Ant-Man fan. If you guys see my toy review, you'll see my Ant-Man shrine. Scott Lang is not a major character in the Ant-Man mythos. He's not a major Avenger. He has nothing to do with Wasp. He has nothing to do with Ultron. He literally has nothing to do with anything of any importance ever. It's just weird. He's effectively a clone of Hank Pym without any of the coolness to like the backstory. Like, whereas Hank Pym is a very flawed man who isn't really a hero, Scott Lang is just a doctor who's also a thief. And that's it. He's the second Ant-Man. Casting, Paul Rudd. Give him a chance, I guess. I don't think I've really seen him lead anything where I was like, he was amazing. I'd like to see more with him. Granted, usually he does comedies. I kind of got a feeling this is going to be a little bit more serious, hopefully. Michael Douglas, great actor. It's kind of telling on where they're going with this movie. Like, they want a much older Hank Pym. So, weird. So far, no casting for Janet Van Dyne, aka the Wasp. There is one for Hope Pym. If you don't know that name, you shouldn't. It's a alternate universe future Hank Pym's daughter who becomes a supervillain, and she'll apparently be the Wasp in this movie and assumed love interest of Scott Lang. Woo. Oh, it's Evangeline Lilly, I believe, is the actress playing her. I mean, no hate towards her, just... Alright, here's the root of my problem. Edgar Wright. I think he's a solid director. I liked a lot of his movies, so don't get me wrong. Don't pretend like I'm some big hater of him. He isn't Spielberg. He's not the kind of director with a track record of making multi-million-dollar movies where you can literally just go, let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He'll bring in the money. Look at Scott Pilgrim. Did ass. You know, you can't really... Like, why you would take a director like that and just be like, yeah, we'll do whatever you want to do. He's just not at that level where I would just be like, you know what, whatever he does and his name's attached to it, it's going to make us money. But, that's pretty much what we know so far. I mean, I'm sure down the line I'll do more in depth on each of the movies as, you know, more facts come to light.
Yeah. I'll probably, maybe next time we do one of these, I'll get a little bit more involved, but...
Yeah. So far, I'm guessing for really good movies, Big Hero 6, I think is going to be a surprise, really good movie. I think X-Men's going to be really good. Dawn of Justice will probably be pretty good. Movies that I think are going to suck, Fantastic Four reboot, I think it's just not going to be Fantastic Four. Ant-Man is just going to be really weird. And Godzilla, if we don't get Godzilla. If they literally give us the same amount of screen time with Godzilla, you're going to see a lot of people angry. But that's going to wrap it up, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you very much for listening to my crazy rant.
And don't forget to check out some of our other videos. And then you can become a member of the Cheesecake Nation today. Helps out quite a bit. I'm Super Chudge Funk.
I'm Dave.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Adios.
Later.